Yo, what is up, guys? So, how do you know when it's time to call it quits on your current job and move on to something better? Are there any obvious signs? Are there things that you should be thinking about? Are there questions you need to ask yourself to come to that decision? Or is it just one of those things where when you know, you know? A guy posed an interesting question on Blind, and so I want to give you guys my personal thoughts on it. So, the title of this post says, When to Know to Call It Quits. I've had 4 product jobs in the past 4 years. I'm not sure if I should call it quits. I feel like I have a hard time managing stakeholders and leadership expectations, as well as professional relationships, especially when people are unreasonable, uninformed, and heavily opinionated. Welcome to the real world. I tend to get along with my immediate teams. The only problem is I have been in this world since 2015 and not sure what else to do. Is there any way to become better at these soft skills? Yeah, man, that is a great question. The entire discipline of product managers is filled with ambiguity, filled with managing stakeholder expectations, and it's something that just comes with the territory. I think it's pretty safe to assume that the majority of product manager roles, whether you're at a large tech firm or at some retail company, you're pretty much going to be the owner of that product, or there might be other people who are involved in the decision-making process, but for the most part, you are the owner. And that means you have to connect with a lot of people, you have to connect with stakeholders, you have to set expectations, you have to talk to customers. And so there's a lot of context switching, there's a lot of expectations on your shoulders, and it's not a role that's for everybody. I made the decision to get into product when I was on a role over at Google, and I was working on the support team, working with the product teams in engineering, but also with support and with customers. And to me, the variety and the depth and the diversity of the work that product managers do is something that I wanted to try, and that's why I got into it. And now that I've done it for at least 3 or 4 years, I can tell you it's not easy. But at the same time, there are benefits that comes with it. And for me, it matches my personality and it matches the type of work that I enjoy doing, which is diverse, being able to problem solve, talking to customers, talking to a bunch of different stakeholders and getting alignment. It's not a role that's for everybody. And you have to take a look at your skill sets, look at your hard skills, your soft skills, and ask yourself, do I have these skills to be able to perform in this role, or is something missing? And if so, can I address those gaps and improve on those things? Because if you don't have the soft skills, and if you just take a look at your peers, your other colleagues, other product managers in your organization or in other teams or in other companies, and if you're honest with yourself and you don't feel that you are quite up to par and you're not confident about getting there, then product management might not be the right role for you. And that's completely okay. There's a lot of jobs out there, non-tech roles, tech roles that you can explore. And 4 or 5 years into something, and if you realize that, hey, this is just not aligning with who I am as a person, with my skills and my strengths, then it might require a hard look in the mirror and ask yourself, is this what I want to do? Is this what I should be doing long term? Ignore all the other stuff, ignore the perks, the benefits that comes with being a PM, the reputation, all that stuff. At the end of the day, if you're not successful, if you're not enjoying what you're doing, then none of that stuff really matters. Take a hard look at yourself and ask those questions. Is this right for me? And, for most people, I would say that if you put the work in, if you put the effort in and you network and you have a growth mindset, you can accomplish anything. Soft skills and managing expectations, working with a bunch of stakeholders. This is something that not only benefits you in your day-to-day job, but also just when it comes to networking and managing personal and professional relationships outside of the workplace. And so my advice to you would be, if this is something that you're truly intentional about and something that you want to work on and you have the confidence to be able to do it, put in the time, put in the effort. It's not going to come overnight. It might not come in a few months or maybe even a year, and it might take a lifetime to develop. But for me personally, I think it's a skill set worth having because it has so much value and so much more additional benefits beyond just your day job. The other thing you kind of talked about is that you're coming across a lot of people who are unreasonable, uninformed, blah, blah, blah. And unfortunately, that's also the reality of a lot of teams. I can tell you right now, I work with a broad range of folks, some who have expertise in certain areas, some who are more disciplined and more up to date on tech news or industry news, and sometimes you have to educate them. The job of a product manager, you're also kind of the salesman. You're the CEO, you're the product owner, and being able to context switch, being able to kind of have that, 20,000 foot conversation, very high level, very strategic, versus getting into the weeds and being able to talk to the engineers and get into the details, that's also very important. And, for me, I actually enjoy doing that. And that's, I think, an important skill set to have as a PM, being able to context switch and be able to zoom in and zoom out. And so you have to have that patience for your colleagues, for your partners, for your customers, if you want to be successful. And that is a skill set that I think you can develop. It's a soft skill for sure, but you can develop that. And I think it will pay dividends once you master that. Anyways, guys, those are my thoughts on this topic. And hopefully this was helpful for the OP. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Are there other bits of advice that you would give to this gentleman? I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.